Yo, welcome back. Top 6, so first episode. So let's start with top 6 prediction. Who will make top 6 this season in Premier League? First is Arsenal with currently with 50 points and they have a game in hand. Man City have played 20 games, they have 45 points, City have 45 points. So if Arsenal win their game in hand, they would have 53 points and they will be 8 point clears. They would be 8 point clear above Man City. So let's start now. So let's start who will finish first and second. I think right now I can't say nothing when Arsenal are doing well. What matters for Arsenal right now is that they have to play 2 games against Man City. So let's look at Arsenal fixture. They have a game in hand. They are 5 point clear of Man City, who are currently second. Everton is their next game. Arsenal travelling to Everton. That's a difficult ground for Arsenal. I think they have not done that well in Everton. I've always seen them struggling at Everton's ground. So this will be a tricky game. And then they have a home game against Brentford. They should win this one. They are pretty good. I think they are still unbeaten in their home. The only team that got at least a point away at Emirates was Newcastle United, 0-0 draw against Arsenal. That's it. The only team that has got any point at Emirates this season. So the next is this one is the one. Arsenal versus Man City. This is Arsenal home game. So if Arsenal win this game, if this is all about if and buts. This is the main game for Arsenal. If Arsenal somehow beat Man City at their home, they are first playing. So if Arsenal City at their home, they already are. If they win their game in hand, and if they don't drop any point against Everton and Brentford, and their third game after that is against City, and if they got 3 points or a point even against Arsenal, title is done. They will be 10 points cleared above City. So there is a strong chance Arsenal might win the league. Arsenal, I think their only tough game remaining this season is against traveling away at Anfield. They will be traveling to Liverpool. Then they have a away game at West Ham, London Derby. They have a tricky game in April in Premier League. This is all about Premier League. So let's go back. Let's look at Arsenal fixture because I think between them there is a Europa League fixture for them. So let's look at Arsenal fixture first. Arsenal FC. So here is the Arsenal fixture. They are out of FA Cup. They are out of World Cup. So they have a game tomorrow. They are showing Premier League only, man. No. Let's again. So Europa, I think, yeah. Europa League knockout stages are not yet declared. So The only game Arsenal should be worried, I think that's the only game, because if they beat City at their own home, I think they would the league title will be wrapped up. But if they somehow drop points against Everton and then they again drop point against City at Emirates, then I think City have a chance. You can look at the fixture, because still there will be game added between these fixture. There will be a Europa League game. Arsenal are still in the Europa League, so here are the difficult fixture for Arsenal. Liverpool away. If they drop point against Everton and then they drop point against City, if they drew against Everton, I think that could happen, because Arsenal's over the years have struggled going whenever they play Everton. They have struggled over the years, so we can see them again dropping points there. This then they have to travel to Liverpool at April 8. Then they have a game London Derby against West Ham away from home. Then they have to a home game against Southampton. And let me tell you, Southampton at that time, either they will be safe in the Premier League or they would still be fighting for their survival. They are still in the relegation battle right now, so they might be playing for their survival. So Southampton will be a difficult game because they will fight for their life. Then they will go to Man City away from home. Then they have a home game against Chelsea away to Newcastle. So if it's all about if and buts, it's a hypothetical scenario right now. If Arsenal drop points against Everton and Man City, I think the City have a strong chance, because Arsenal still have a tough game, man, because they will have to travel to Newcastle to face Newcastle United, home to Chelsea. Chelsea at that time in April 29 will be a lot better squad. If Arsenal face Chelsea right now, after in February, I think Arsenal can beat Chelsea. But if Arsenal are facing Chelsea at April 29, I think at that time Graham Potter will know what is best 11 is, and all the players will adapt to the way Graham Potter want to play. So that could again be a tricky game for Arsenal. So there are some games, I think at the end, yeah, at the end of this month, we will know who is going to win the league. At the end of this month, we will know who will win this league. Arsenal, I think, if you look at the way Arsenal have played, they have a strong chance. But Arsenal are putting all egg in their one basket. They are, I think, in their mind, they are going for the title. They don't care about FA Cup. They will not care about Europa League, as far as I know. I think they would like to go out from the Europa League, so that they just have to prepare for Premier League games. They are already out of FA Cup. So by the end of this month, we will know where Arsenal will be heading to, whether they are going for a league or whether they are going to finish second. So the next team, I think, is Man City. Currently, I think they had one more game. They played 20 games. Man City. Let's first go to the standing. Let's let's look for Man City. Man City. Let's again look at the standing first. At right now, City have played one more game, and let me tell you, Arsenal have scored 45 goals and have conceded 16 goals. So if you look at that also, Arsenal don't concede that many goals so far this season, whereas Man City have played one more game and they are currently at 45 points. They have conceded 20 goals so far this season, scored 53 goals. So let's look at Man City fixture first. So here is Man City set. So this week will be key for both City and Arsenal, who are competing for the league title right now. Tottenham, they are traveling to Tottenham. If City beat Tottenham today on Sunday, I think then they would go to 48 points. And if Arsenal drop 3 points or even drop 2 points, then the point gap will be just 3 points with the game in hand. So this week will be key for both Arsenal and Man City. So the next Sunday they have a home game against Villa. Right now they are doing well. I think since that comeback against Spurs, I think they know that they can believe in themselves, that whenever they go down, they will come back stronger. So if that was any other match, if that was any other team, when Tottenham scored 2 goals away from at their City's home, I think if that was any other team, if that was even United or even any other team, that there is no chance of scoring 3 or 4 goals in the second half. The City was the only one team right now this season with Arsenal that can come back after conceding 2 goals in the first half, and City have done that. City have scored 4 goals in the second half against Tottenham. So that will give them belief, that will again give them belief, that will give them push to go and win the league. They are competing with Arsenal, who are doing really well. So that's why I still believe City have a chance. But first, if these are the tricky games, man. Some of these games are really tricky. If they have to beat Tottenham first, so they are playing Tottenham in a span of 14 days almost. Yeah. So with no, I think Antonio Conte had an operation, so he might not there. He will not be there in the dugout for Tottenham. So that's why I am going with Man City win there. So I think City will beat Tottenham on Sunday. And they have an easy home game against Aston Villa. Under Unai Emery, they are doing well, Aston Villa, but City at home, and come on, man. We all know how well they played against Wolves. They are now doing well at their home. And then there is a game against Arsenal in the midweek at February 16. So this would be the game. This would be the game that will decide where the title is going, whether it is coming to Manchester or whether it is going to Arsenal. So this will be the key game for both clubs. Then they have after Arsenal game, they have against game away from home against Forest, midweek Champions League game, round of 16 game against Leipzig. Then they have a away game against Bournemouth. They should beat them. They should beat Forest easily. So this week will be key for them. This 2 weeks maybe. Tottenham game, Aston Villa, 2 low block side who will sit back and just try to hit City on a break. And City so far defensively are not looking that good. And then they have a midweek game. So by the end of this month, we will know who is going to win the league. I am sure about that. Then they have after Bournemouth game, they have a FA Cup 5th round game against Bristol City away from home. That should be an easy game for City. Then they have a tough game there against Newcastle at home. This is a tough game. Then they have a away game at Palace, but Palace are both Manchester clubs, bogey team. Then they have a away game again, Champions League home game against Leipzig. Then City have a home game. So by the end of February, we will know. I think the top two are, for me, the top two are almost certain, man. The top two are almost certain. Either City or Arsenal will win the league. Let's separate these two from the rest. Let's separate these two clubs from the rest now. Then the third is Newcastle. One thing I like about Newcastle is they just have conceded 11 goals and they have just scored 33 goals. So Newcastle, when you look at Newcastle, only Brentford have the same number of draws as Newcastle. So if Newcastle don't score that much goal and they do not concede that much goal. In 20 games they have just scored 33 goals and have conceded 11 goals. Just in terms of defensively, they have been brilliant. And attacking output, that's not good enough. Just 33 goals in 20 matches. And when you are competing for top 4 spot, I think that's not good, but still they have a better goal difference. They have a goal difference of goal 22. And let's look at Newcastle because they are not at any European competition this season. They are out of FA Cup. They are in the final of AFL Cup. They will face Manchester United, who both United and Newcastle are fighting for the third and fourth spot. So here are some Newcastle fixtures. So tomorrow they will have a game against West Ham, home game. I think it could either be a draw game. And Newcastle don't score that much goal. They don't concede. I think in scoring wise, they heavily rely on Callum Wilson and Isaac. Yeah, Isaac from whom they signed. I think they signed him for 70 odd million from Real Sociedad. And both Callum Wilson and Isaac are injury prone. So that I think this may also be the reason they are not scoring that much goal. And their other output is Almiron, who is doing well this season. And just like United, I think they are both Newcastle and United both are relying on Newcastle are relying on Almiron and United are over relying on Rashford. And if those who feel United and Newcastle, if they somehow are just able to block Rashford and Almiron from the game, then I think both teams will struggle to score. But one thing about Newcastle is they don't concede. Defensively, they are brilliant. They have some big guy in back. They are, I think, physically they have a lot of 6'2", 6'3" players. So, what Newcastle should do this season is they can't draw too many games like they have so far done this season. Either they have to win the game. They should be going for 3 points. You can't just keep on drawing games and hoping that you will make top 4. Still drawing 9 games. Drawing 9 games, they are on the same point as United. And here are some of the fixtures of Newcastle United. Home game against West Ham, away to Bournemouth, home game against Liverpool, then a EFL Cup final. They have one game postponed because right now they are in EFL Cup final. What they have an advantage over the likes of Tottenham Hotspur, Liverpool, Chelsea and United is they don't have a midweek game. That's it. From here to the end of the season, they will have no midweek games. After that EFL Cup final, they will just be competing for Premier League top 4 spots. So with a midweek rest and with a midweek rest, they have a strong possibility that they could make top 4. Here are some of the tough games, and not a single game is easy in the Premier League. Home to West Ham West Ham, they are fighting for survival, so this could be another tricky game. Away to Bournemouth are also fighting to be safe at Premier League, so again this would be another tricky game. And now Liverpool versus Newcastle, and by the end of this month we will know who will make top 4. Just like the top 2 who will win the league, we will also know who is going to make top 4 by the end of this month. and they still have a EFL Cup final. Then after EFL Cup final, they have a game against City away from home. And here is the one. This game will shape up both Premier League and the top 4 race. So Newcastle still have to face Liverpool, City, Man United, Tottenham, Arsenal, and Chelsea. I think we can say that if there is a chance, Newcastle may not even make top 4 because they don't have that experience of competing for top 4. I think after a long, maybe decades, this is the first time they are going for the top 4 spot. So they don't know how to make top 4. Many of the players don't have the experience of having pressure on the back of the shoulder. So if there is any team who can, I think who can drop from third or fourth to sixth or seventh is Newcastle, because Newcastle are missing the experience. I think they, after such a long time, this is the first time they are going for the top 4 spot. Last year they were fighting for relegation, for safety. Now this time they are making for top 4. So it is way too quick for them to just come out from bottom half of the table to the top of the table. They don't have those experience, those key players who can guide them to the top 4 spot. So the experience and the mentality really matters from here to the end of the season. And this right now, United let's go to Man United. Why Man United there is a chance that both Newcastle and United could miss out on top 4. This is according to me. I'm not even being biased. I'm a United fan, but I'm not a biased one, because when you look at this, United are, I think they are going for everything, man. They are in the EFL Cup final, they are in FA Cup next round, they are in Europa League, they are in Premier League top 4. Right now, all the players are well and fine. Apart from Donny van de Beek, Scott McTominay, Eriksen is out. And because of Eriksen injury, United have signed midfielder. If Eriksen was not injured, United would not have gone for a midfielder. Yeah. So there is a strong possibility that both United and Newcastle could drop out of top 4. So this Sunday United have Palace. Yeah. United have Palace. Then they have Leeds. This is a midweek game. So United are only the team that have played maybe 2 games every week. Every week they have played 2 games. Again this week they have a midweek game. This would be, I think United will beat Palace. I think they should beat Palace. This could not be that easy win. This should be a difficult game, because it's been a long time. I think I've not seen United dominating Palace over the years. It's been a close game almost. So again, this should be another close game against Palace, but still they should be coming out with 3 points. What I don't get is, how are United facing against Leeds in a 2 back-to-back games? They have a midweek games at home against Leeds United. Then again Sunday they will again face Leeds. How are they facing Leeds in a span of 3 days, man? 3 days, just 3 days, and they will face Leeds again. So these are the 2 fixtures. I think United can drop points here, and they have again midweek game against Barcelona. And this is a knockout game. One team will go to the next round, the other team will be out of the Europa League. So I hope this is the first time I'm going to say it. I want United out of that Europa League. If United want to make top 4, they cannot compete in all 4 competition, man. They have to leave one of them, and Europa League for me is the best. Better compete for the FA Cup, and right now we are in the AFL Cup final, so we should go for that. For the trophy AFL Cup, we should be competing for the FA Cup, and we should be making top 4 if we want to make top 4, I think we should be out of this Europa League by February 24. We should be out, and then our fixture list, we may have we may not have a midweek game. Then the players can get some rest, and much needed rest. They have played a lot of games midweek. They have came back from World Cup, and then they played Burnley, and from Burnley to here, there is every game within next by 3 days we have one more game. Again in 3 days we have one more game. So better. We should not. We should lose against. I just want my team to lose against Barcelona in the Europa League. Then United have a home game against Leicester. And if we are out of the Europa League, then we have a strong chance that we should make top 4. And one thing is, we will face after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 game before the final against Newcastle, EFL Cup final against Newcastle on February 26. This is currently February 3rd. So in 23 days we are facing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. And if United are out of the Europa League, there is a strong chance we still have to. Let's also look at all these fixtures first. Liverpool away, Southampton home, Brighton away, another tricky game, Liverpool away, tricky game, Newcastle away, tricky game. And in April 8 we have a home game against Everton. Then we have a away game against Nottingham Forest, home game against Chelsea, away game against Tottenham, home game Villa, away game West Ham, home against Wolves. So I would not be surprised that by the end of April we might not even be in the top 4, man. Yeah, man, these April fixtures are dangerous for us. Some of the games in April, man. Even in March, look at this game. We have 2 tough games. Sorry, this is the FA Cup game. So here are some tough game in 1st March. We have a first away game against Liverpool, then Brighton, then Newcastle. So these are some of the tough games for us. So I would not be surprised if we are out of top 4 spot by the end of April, because some of these games are really tricky, man. Right now, yeah, you can look at the way we are playing. We should beat them, but we are currently in February. You never know, by the end of this month we might have an injury to our key players. If Varane, let me tell you, if Varane, Casemiro and Rashford, any one of them is injured, we are done for this season. I don't have any hope that we are going to make top 4. If one of them is injured, I will not have any of us making top 4. So these are some tricky games for us. And let's again look at the point difference first. Currently Man United and Newcastle are on 39 points. Tottenham is on 36. Whatever you want to call Antonio Conte, yeah, Tottenham are not doing that great. But the point difference between us and the point difference between United and Tottenham is just of 3 points. And we have a game in hand, that's it. We have a game in hand, that's it, man. And Brighton are just behind them. Chelsea are currently on 29 points, and both Chelsea have played 20 games, we have played 20 games. So between us and Chelsea is 10-point gap. So we still have to face Tottenham, we still have to face Brighton, we still have to face Fulham, we still have to face Brentford, we still have to face Liverpool, we still have to face Chelsea. So we have all of the games up. The only 2 teams that we are not going to face this season is Arsenal and Chelsea. We are done with them. From 3rd to 10th, from 3rd to 11th, we have to face everyone. So every of these team, if let's suppose it's Tottenham, let's talk about the big club first: Tottenham, Liverpool, Chelsea. these three and Newcastle. Let's talk about these three teams. They know that if they get 3 points against United, their gap could be closed. So let's suppose if Chelsea face United and the gap is just a 5 point, and if Chelsea somehow get a point or even 3 point, the gap is closed. Tottenham and us is 3 point gap, and we are not playing Tottenham at our home. We are traveling away to Tottenham. So by that time, right now Son is not doing well. Kane is not scoring as he usually used to. So when we face Tottenham, what if all of these players are back on form and Casemiro is again suspended or injured, Rashford is injured, and something like, and Varane is out for at least 1 month. We all know Varane is an injury prone player. So at that time, when you look at all these things, if Tottenham beat us, they could be even 5 point clear of us. If even in the last season, I think where Tottenham are right now, they were there. I think the Tottenham were 5th in last year. Right now at 2022 February 3, and they were 5th place. Arsenal were 4th, and when the season ends, Arsenal were 5th, and Tottenham make top 4. So these things context really matters here. Even Liverpool know they still have a chance to make top 4. But one thing I am certain about Liverpool, there is I think the only club I know that Liverpool I think cannot make top 4 this season. I think if they have signed one midfielder, I don't know why they signed Gakpo, man. If they just, let's suppose if they didn't sign Gakpo there in January, they didn't pay 40 million for Gakpo, and they just paid that 40 million to sign a midfielder, maybe any of a decent midfielder. If they at least sign one midfielder and one midfielder on loan, I think this could have changed their whole scenario. Then I think Liverpool have a strong chance of making top 4. But they did not sign any midfielder. They just gone with another forward. But we are not facing Liverpool in this month. So again we are facing Liverpool in March. So by here to when we face Liverpool in the month of March, you never go. Liverpool might go in a 3 or 4 games run. They might have a good form with Anfield behind them and done well at Anfield. So Liverpool have a chance. We are going there as an underdog, so Liverpool will be favorite at Anfield. So that's why I think we cannot rule out Liverpool. But if you ask me, I think I'm almost 75% sure that Liverpool are not make. It will be really tough for Liverpool to make top 4 this season. The only team that I'm worried about right now is Tottenham, not even Chelsea. Chelsea, yeah, I know Chelsea have signed players. Chelsea have signed maybe a whole new 11. They don't have a place in the dressing room for their own player. They have to build a new dressing room for their players. We all know, we can joke about them, but right now what matters here again is context. If we are going to play Chelsea in the month of April. So at that time, if Chelsea again goes in a 10-game unbeaten run just like us, after coming back from World Cup, we have gone in a mad winning run. And just if the same thing happened to Chelsea, they are again back. They know that they can get a point against United at Old Trafford. So we are facing maybe in April. If they are in a good form, they can get a point. They know that the players they have signed, Raheem Sterling will be back, Kai Havertz will be sitting on bench, Joao Felix will be there, Enzo Fernandez will be there, and Madueke will be there. I don't know how much player they have signed, and they will have Badasile at back, and they would have Thiago Silva at back. They will have Kepa. I think Kepa will flop again. I know he have, just like Daya, he has a mistake, but they have Cucurella. They've signed Cucurella at left back. Malo Gusto will join them in the summer. So Chelsea have a strong chance. I think I'm more worried about Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham may not have signed player, but Conte is a serious manager, man. He can make top 4. but all the just like us, I think they have to find a way to score goals from other areas. If they are over just like United and even Newcastle, if they we have Rashford, Newcastle have Almiron, and Spurs have Kane. And if these three don't score, then their team are in big trouble. They have to find a way to score goals. And if Tottenham can find a way, another player who can contribute for them, then they have a strong chance. These are some of the Chelsea are still in the Champions League, man. So I think they would be out. And even Tottenham have a strong chance, man. And even in the Champions League, they are facing Milan. I think Milan right now, AC Milan are not doing that great. Let's look at some of the Tottenham fixtures. Think they have. I think again, just like us, they will not have to face Arsenal and Man City by the end of this week. They have a away game at Leicester. Then they have a Champions League game in February 15 against Milan. Then they have a home game against West Ham. This game would, and they have a game against Tottenham. So here is the game. If Chelsea beat Tottenham, boom, Chelsea are again back. They are climbing the gap. The point difference will be close between them and Chelsea, them and Tottenham Hotspur. So Tottenham have a strong chance of going to the next round of the Champions League. So Tottenham have a home game against Brighton. Then they have a away game at Newcastle United. Then April 22. Then April 26 they have a home game against United. Then away game on April 29 they have a away game at Liverpool. Then they have a home game against Palace. Then they have a away game against Aston Villa. So the last two games are at that point should be quite easy because at Brentford, I think they know they are safe. They will be gassed up and they have nothing to play for. So Brentford game, I don't mind. The only thing is Leeds United. If Leeds United are maybe 10th, 11th, then Tottenham can beat them. But if they are again fighting for their safety, then this could be a tricky game. So if you look at the fixture list, Tottenham have a strong chance. They have an easy fixture, but yeah, they just have to face United once, Liverpool once, Chelsea once, and Brighton and Newcastle once. So they just have a 4 teams to play, 4 difficult teams to face. Whereas United, they still have to face Liverpool, they still have to face Tottenham, they have to face Newcastle, they have to face Chelsea. So these are some of the different games, difficult games, and the point difference is just 3 points. So they have Tottenham are climbing the gap. And if United win their game in hand, I think then United have a 6-point gap between them and Tottenham Hotspur. So one thing is, if in Sunday City win, then United win their 2 games in a midweek, and this week against Palace and a midweek game against Leeds, then there's 6 point, almost 6 plus 6, 3, 9, 10. United will have a 9-point gap with Tottenham Hotspur. So this week is really key for everyone. Newcastle, United, Tottenham Hotspur, Man City, Arsenal. So this week for the top half table, for all these teams in the top half of the table, this will really matter, because either they are just closing the gap, or they are just expanding the gap, or they are just closing the gap. And when you look at Liverpool and Chelsea, let's first look at Chelsea. I think Chelsea, let's look at Chelsea first. Let's look at their Champions League game against Dortmund. So they have a strong chance. They might again, just like Tottenham Hotspur, they have a chance to go to the next round of the Champions League. Just look at some of the tricky games. Southampton at home. This should be a tricky game. Right now, Southampton are fighting for the relegation, so fighting for the safety, fighting in relegation. They are in relegation zone, so this would be interesting game against Tottenham. They have another good game. Both either one team will get points or both team will drop points. So here is a chance. This is a 6-point game between Tottenham and Chelsea for top 4. A 6-point game. And then they have a game against Everton, difficult game against Leicester. Leicester are, I think they are coming back. They are coming back. They are grinding for their win. They are getting collecting points. That what is really matters from here to the end of the season. So Chelsea just have. If you look at these fixtures, man. So United game 1-2, Forest away, Bournemouth. Oi, the last two games, man. Boy, some of these games are really difficult, man. Boy, oh boy, I think if there is strong possibility that even if Chelsea Chelsea last game is against Newcastle, so this could determine the top four, man. If Chelsea beat Newcastle, you never know. Either spots at either Chelsea or even Liverpool can make top four. So here are some of the interesting game, man. Some of these fixtures are really interesting. This Newcastle Chelsea last game. But if you look at all these Chelsea fixtures, they just have to face United once. They have to face Arsenal once. They have to face City once. City away game. Away game at City. Home game against Newcastle. This is the last game of this season Premier League. So just for Brighton one. So here some of them are just, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. I think these 5 games are really tricky for Chelsea Football Club. So now again let's look at the standing. Let's look at Liverpool. Who will Liverpool have to face? I think Liverpool have a tough fixture, man. So this week they are facing Wolves away from home. Then the next week they are Everton away. That's a Merseyside derby. Then Newcastle away. Tricky game. I think they will be out of Champions League. You never know. But I think Real Madrid are struggling. I think this season. So I don't know. Liverpool have a chance of qualifying to the next round, or maybe Real Madrid. So this fixture, Champions League fixture, will be key for Liverpool. So if Liverpool are knocked out, are out of the Champions League, then they are already out of the FA Cup. So they will just be competing for Premier League. That means one game at a week. So I think Liverpool can make top four, Then away game at Palace. Then again home game against United. Real Madrid Champions League. Then a home game against Fulham. Away to Man City. Home at Arsenal. So these are the two difficult games. So April 1 and April 8, these two games could change things around for at least 4 or 5 clubs, Because on April 1 they will face Man City away from home. If they drop point here, that's 3-point gain for Man City. So the next week they will be facing Arsenal at home. Liverpool will be facing Arsenal at home. So if Arsenal somehow drop here 3 points, that's 6-point plus for Man City. And that could also, if Liverpool drop point here and here into maybe 6 point or 4 points in 2 games, so that is a benefit for Newcastle United, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea. But if Liverpool gets something from these two fixer, maybe a 4 point or 6 point or maybe 2 point, then again that is their loss. They have to get 6 points. They have to at least get 4 points from these 2 games, and maybe 3 points. So if Liverpool beat Arsenal, that's 3 points deducted for the top of the table fight. So April is interesting again, just like March. April, by the end of this month, again April first 2 games are key for Liverpool football. For Liverpool, I think April 1 and April 8, these are the key fixers for the top 6 club. For Tottenham Hotspur, for Chelsea, for United, for Arsenal, for Liverpool, for Man City. So then they have to have away game against Leeds, then a home game against Nottingham Forest, away to West Ham. At that point, West Ham will either be still there where they are right now, fighting for survival, or they will be safe. So the context at that time will really matter. And then they have a home game against Tottenham Hotspur, another. So you never know about April. But right now on the paper, I think Tottenham have done well against Liverpool and against Man City. So this could This game will be a 6 pointer for both clubs, for Liverpool and Tottenham. Win for one Liverpool is 6 point gap, and a draw means 2 point draw for both clubs. So one of them by the April 29 will be out of the top four race. So some of these fixtures, so Liverpool, I think they can finish strong, man. After April 29, they have a home game against Brentford, away game at Leicester, home to Villa, away at Southampton. So Liverpool could finish with a maybe 4 wins, 12 points in back-to-back 4 games. And if they are out of Champions League, I think they have a strong chance of competing or for even making hard for other teams in the top four race. But if they qualify for the next round of Champions League, I think that could be difficult for them. So if you look at the table right now, let's look at some of the goal difference here. So Newcastle have 22 goal difference, but they have drawn way too much games. Whereas United just drawn 3, lost 5, won 12. Goal difference is 7. Tottenham goal difference is 9. Tottenham goal difference is 9, whereas by Brighton goal difference is 10. Forget Brighton because they will dip somehow by the end of this month or next month. Liverpool goal difference is 9 and Chelsea is 1. So another plus point for United is that we are on safe. We are almost in the same line as Tottenham, Chelsea, and Liverpool in terms of goal difference. So I think I think Arsenal, City, United, and the fourth. I think apart from Arsenal and City, third and fourth place is up for grab. I'm not still sure about who is going to make top four right now on current form. We can talk all about current form, but you never know, man. You just have to drop. You just have to hold. If you lost back-to-back 3 games or 2 games, all of these Chelsea, Tottenham, and Liverpool again to make top four. So third and fourth place is up for the grab. For me, third and fourth place is up for the grab, man. That's it, man. Let's look at relegation zone. Southampton 15 point. So 20th place Southampton has 15 point. 20th place Southampton. Okay. So from 14th to 20th, the gap currently Leicester City is sitting on 14th place with 18 point. Goal difference is -7. And 20th place is Southampton. So if Southampton wins two games back to back, Southampton will be safe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams are fighting for survival this season. 7 teams. Forest are almost safe. They have 21 points. I think right now Forest are safe, but you never know, man. I think 11 from 12 to 20. I think this is again up for grab. From position number 12 to position number 20 is again up for grab. So you never know. Just we have to win 3 games. You will climb the table, man. If Southampton wins 3 games back to back, they will be back in 15th place. So you just have to win 3 games. So this season the bottom half is difficult than the top half. Because top half too, from first, second they are almost safe. Either one is going to win the league. Third and fourth is up for grab. From third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. So currently Chelsea is 10th. By the end of the season, Chelsea might have a chance to make top 4. Liverpool, who is 9th right now, by the end of this season, Liverpool might finish top 4. So you never know, man. Still a long way to go. So these things can happen in Premier League. some of these fixtures are difficult, but the one thing I think that is going to be key is the fixture list. Teams who will just have a game every week will have more chance of making top 4 because the player will be have much rest. But if in terms of Chelsea squad, I think they have 30, 35, 36 players in their squad, and all of them are first team player. So Chelsea, even if they compete in Champions League, Chelsea is the only one team that have a strong depth, which will help them. But one thing with Chelsea is this This is Graham Potter first season, and I think he was manager from maybe October November. He was appointed as a manager from October, so he is new to his job. And with all the player he had in his squad, I think it will be difficult for him right now. But I think he's a good enough manager, so he will find a way to adapt according to the player or adapt the player according to him. So it all depends in this month. This month will be key by February. If all these teams if Liverpool, Chelsea, and Tottenham, if Newcastle drop point, if just one team, I'm talking about Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea, Newcastle, and United, 5 teams are competing for 2 spots. So if one team goes in unbeaten run for whole of this month, and one team just keep on the other rest of the teams keep on dropping points, mean that team is almost secure to make top 4. So that is key. So these 5 clubs have to win the game. So you have to put a pressure in other team by winning their game. So pressure is going to be on next level, man. Let's see who can handle pressure, who can handle the game situation, who can handle everything, the gap, the rest time, everything is going to be key. So let's see, man. That's it, man. The top 4, I think first and Arsenal and City, one of them is going to win the league. First and second place is done, and third and fourth place is up for grab. 5 team, 6 team, even 6 or 7 team are competing for that spot, third and fourth. And the bottom half is from 14th right now is Leicester City, and 20th is Southampton. So if Southampton goes in a 4-match winning run, they have win 4 games back to back. That means they have 12 points. And then again from 20th, just 4 week within a month. If Southampton win that 4 games back to back, I think within a month they will be climb from 20th to 14th. So this is Premier League, man. Now everything is up for grab apart from the first 2 positions. 1 and 2 is almost certain. Either one is going to make top 4. I think this will be the key, because if Arsenal drop point against Everton, there is a strong chance Arsenal might drop point because Lampard is not there. Dice is their new manager. So Dice, I think, and Everton, Arsenal do not do well. Over the number of years, I have seen their games, I've watched their game. Arsenal really struggle against Everton away from home. So Everton have a chance to at least secure a point from that game. That means that 2 point drops with a game in hand for Arsenal. And if City beat Tottenham Hotspur, or if Spurs beat Tottenham and Arsenal beat Arsenal beat Everton, that's wrap up. The game against City would not matter anything, would not be anything. That's done, wrap up. So this week is key for them. The one thing Arsenal have advantage is 1 game in hand, and the other is they are playing before Man City. So if Arsenal beat Everton, that means they have 8 point gaps with the game in hand, and then that will put more pressure on City to beat Spurs away from home. And if City crumbled against Spurs, drop points, so that means they have 8 or at least 7 point gap with the game in hand. So that's league wrap up for Arsenal. And Arsenal, I think they would not mind. They would not mind getting out of that Europa League. They are already out of FA Cup. City have defeated them. They are out of EFL Cup. So they are just going. They are putting all their egg on one basket. So there is a strong possibility by the end of this week we might know more about who is going to finish where. So every game day is going to be crucial, will be key for every team from here to the end of the season. So every week right now I'm in good mood. I'm talking about the possibility, the scenario, the context. So every game from here is you have to. I think we can't just look on April or even May, March time. One game, every match day is important. One game at a time is important. Win your game, put a pressure on your opponent who is going to compete for your spot. So it's for top two, it's Arsenal and Man City, and for the rest third and fourth, from third, fourth to 10th. So for two places there are 5 team fightings for the two places. So that is going to be really key. So we have to see, man. So every team, one team goes on unbeaten run, that's their position secured. So other team have to know about that. So everything will be key. All the fixture league is really congested. So some team have to decide whether they are going for that other competition or they are just going for this top four spot. So let's see, man, who is going where. Let's look about. We will be back after this match day, this game. There are a lot of fixtures. There are some tricky games. So we'll be back after. Maybe I will be back on Monday or Tuesday again with top six. So talking about all things that will happen this week, about maybe some incident, maybe some games, some points. So let's watch out, man. Let's see. I'm out. Peace.